What's up guys, I hope you're doing well. I really liked this one beat that I made, so I thought I'd do a quick breakdown of it. It's very Crystal Castles inspired, but I also did some processing similar to the Lo-Fi house video I made last week. I made this way before the video last week though, so there are some different techniques that I either improved or ditched entirely since making this beat. Either way, I hope you all enjoy the video, and again, make sure you comment any suggestions you have for future videos, and make sure to like and subscribe. So the first thing I did was made some chords with this breathy choir preset from Serum. I alternated between 7th and 9th chords, and also at the end of every 4 bars had an extra note play. For the processing, I used Crystalline with this Siren Head Cries preset for heavy ambient reverb, along with using the channel EQ and Pro Q4 in order to tame a lot of the frequencies that are in there. So this first pad sounds like this. Next, I took this clone theory pad and copied over the chords from the first pad over to here. I also used the same reverb preset from Crystalline, except turned up even more in the mix, along with some fruity delay on the ping pong setting, some pan man, which is only about 50% in the mix, but I have it panning from right all the way to left, and once it reaches to the left, it immediately zooms back to the right, so it doesn't really stay in the center all that much. I then also added some wider to give it its own space in the mix, and made a high cut in the channel EQ. And that sounds like this. Next we had the first counter melody, which I used this simple pluck from Serum, and did a whole lot of processing to it. So first, we have free delay on the ping pong setting, turned up about 35%. This first gross beat preset in order to give it some cool bounce. Some OTT to compress it and bring out some frequencies across the spectrum. This other gross beat, which half times it, and then wider to give it its own space in the mix. So initially, I put in this melody, but it was all the way down here. And then after adding this halftime gross beat, did Control A and then Control up arrow to put it up an octave. So the melody sounds like this. Next up, we got this lead from Serum, which I believe also follows the middle notes of these chords. And all I did for processing was doing this high cut EQ in the channel mixer. And so that sounds like this. And then lastly, but probably most importantly, we have this bass preset. I took this usual respace preset that I had, enabled a second oscillator, turned the unison up to 4, and then detuned that second oscillator a little bit. I then added a sub oscillator to be on the same waveform as these two. I think this is a saw wave, but it might be a triangle, but I think these are all saw waves. And then I made an LFO look kind of like this to mimic some side chaining, because this is before I figured out how to do that in FL, and I attached it to the level of both the first and second oscillator, so that way it controls the volume of each note. I then added some bit crusher to make it sound more crunchy and distorted. Earlier today though, I did set up the sidechain with the kick. I think I like the properly sidechained version more, but because I have the kick feeding into the drum bus on this beat, it sounds a little off because I'm so used to the kick sounding processed, but when it's not on the drum bus, I feel like it's better for the sidechain, but it's kind of missing something. When you're making a bass line for this type of beat, it's important to have the root notes alternate octaves every other note that you have. Here's the bass line. Then lastly, I took this vocal loop from Splice, time stretched it to fit within the BPM, and added this blur white preset from Fruity Convolver. I believe some more ping pong delay at about 16% in the mix, and then also this gross beat preset by J Nasty. I believe I also right clicked, did chop complex, and then selected one of these stutter options. I don't remember which one it is, but it's probably stutter 2 or 3. That sounds like this. So quickly, all together, the melody sounds like this. So next up, we got some pretty standard sounding drums. On the drum bus, I have my normal set of processing. We have crystalline for the reverb, set to about 30%. Fruity delay on the ping pong setting, at about 18% in the mix. It's important that if you add delay to drums like this, that you have the mix knob or the dry wet knob set pretty low, because if you don't, you're just going to have a lot of back and forth that's going to turn into a bit of a mess. I have Destructor with this Bit Crush preset, and then OTT to sort of act as a compressor but broaden some of the dynamics. For the kick, I have the simple 4 on the floor pattern, but I made sure to set all the kicks to A since that's the root note of our song. The kicks sound like this. The hi-hats like this. Some open hats. The main snare, and then a second counter snare. So all together, the drums sound like this. Then of course, for the master, I tried adding MAME onto the top of the master, like I did for last video, but it didn't really sound right. So for now I have it disabled. So the first plugin is LoFi Oddity, which is on the same preset and very similar settings to the last video. The corruption/distortion module is at 1.2, the reverb's at 0, the tape is at 1.5, and the compression's at 0. And then the input and output are at -9.6 and 9.3 respectively, and the mix is at 82%, just like the default. Next up, we have this plugin called Codec. I've been trying to use it in a lot of lo-fi stuff, but I can't really seem to balance a lot of it right. It seems to go really heavy into the degradation side, so I found that having the mix relatively low helps a lot. For the settings, the default is on like this vocal setting. It's very important that if it's on the master like this or just an instrument, you set it to this musical/instrument setting, aka the music mode. Then I left it on this first loss mode, which is just random. You can also have it on smooth or repeating. I set the bit rate to 22K, and what this does is essentially offers us half of the audio spectrum to work with. The way bit rate works is whatever your highest frequency is in a song, you want the bit rate to be at least double that. So if the bit rate is 22K, that means the highest frequency that we're going to hear if this mix is turned all the way up is only 11K. That's important to note, especially if you're EQing stuff, because you literally won't be able to hear anything over a certain frequency. Then down here, I set the bandwidth to 20 kilohertz, the noise to 18%, and then the color to plus 50%. This color knob basically adjusts the pitch of the noise that you're feeding in. So if it's at 0, it's going to be pretty normal. If it's at negative 50, it's going to be low. Positive 50, it's going to be high. And then I adjusted the mix, so it's just a very faint texture, because with the mix turned all the way up, if you listen to the drums, you can tell that it's different, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's for the better compared to this. And then lastly, we have OTT. The depth set to 48%. The time at 0. Increase the upward, decrease the downward. Just to, not only compress stuff, but bring out some more texture within the audio spectrum. But yeah, that's gonna about do it for me. I might play around a little bit with the mix, changing some things. I might try and alter the master setting a little bit. But either way, I'm gonna play this out at the end of the video. You can listen to it on YouTube and SoundCloud, and that's about it. Thank you all for watching. I really appreciate your support. If you have any suggestions, please comment them down below. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I hope to see you all again soon, whether it's through the videos or through their live streams. But either way, I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope to see you all again soon.